It's that magical time of the year when 2017 is just around the corner, and looking back on everything we went through is almost inevitable. So let's kick off this wonderful period of reminiscence with the best movies of the year. Just to sidetrack for a moment, there are 3 honorable mentions. Now I don't know what some people were expecting, but I loved Jason Bourne. It had action, it had mystery, and it had Matt Damon as Jason Bourne in a more than competently made action film. Sure, it may have been unnecessary, but what the hell do you want? Speaking of unnecessary, I don't think there'll be better example as this sequel to Finding Nemo was, but you can argue with the results of a well thought out, competently shot, fun little movie. And lastly, The Jungle Book. I gotta confess, I thought it was going to be a dark and gritty reboot of a classic, like pretty much everything Disney is doing these days. Thank God it wasn't, because The Jungle Book was really good. Alright, honorable mentions are out, let's get this going! Number 10. You know, I like watching movies that make me find out stuff about myself. I didn't know I was a quote-unquote action junkie until I saw Hardcore Henry. The actual reason why I love this film was because of its uniqueness in style and the outstanding camera work that led to an amazing first-person action experience so rarely seen in movie theaters. But according to some people on the interwebs, I'm an action junkie with mediocre taste. Gee, thanks, internet. Number 9. I hate David Yates. I despise him after learning what he did to Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Luckily, J.K. Rowling tends to get overprotective with anything she writes, and that's why I liked Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them as much as I did, because she still knows how to make the Harry Potter universe interesting for children or for people with childish minds like myself. Number 8. Boy, I can't wait for the Oscars next year. That Best Animated Feature category is going to be a bloodshed. Case in point, my first animated movie for the list, Zootopia. Besides genius character development, an enticing environment, and a very charming story, I like the detail of every animal being correctly proportioned, physically speaking. Just don't try everything, kids. Number 7. Normally, I would have a lot more of them Oscar-bait movies on my list, but I live in a place where we only get those after the Academy Awards. However, there's one I got to see and I think it's really good, mainly because both the director and the lead actor still got it in them. It's Sully. Yeah, I'm a sucker for biographical movies. I like the more recent Clint Eastwood movies, and I'm a fan of everything Tom Hanks has done. Yes, even Inferno. No, it's not on this list, rest assured. Sully was amazing though. Number 6. If you have to blink, do it now, or you might miss the second animated film on this list, Kubo and the Two Strings. Man, what an amazing stop-motion adventure. The animation was spectacular, the story was original and pretty cute, it gave a nice meaning to spirituality and magic, and Rooney Mara's on it, and she plays a pair of twin sisters. Yes, I love that woman. Sue me. Number 5. Mark my words, there'll be a time when we won't be able to make a list like this one without bowing down to Marvel the necessary amount of times for each movie they make. But how can you argue against Captain America Civil War? Marvel Studios' crowning jewel for this year comes in the form of the Avengers Smash Brothers that leaves the team turning their backs against each other in the more serious, edgier tone for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Perfectly crafted and marvelously shot, no pun intended, Civil War was a huge success for those who were expecting to see Captain America vs. Iron Man and the new Spider-Man. Number 4. The infinitely less obnoxious, way more fun, way better composed, way more tropical version of fucking Frozen rolls around to cap off the animated features for the list. You know I'm talking about Moana. The songs were outstanding, particularly Dwayne Johnson's performance as Maui in the song You're Welcome. The 2D animation of Maui's tattoos were amazing and a nice contrast to the movie's 3D graphics, and holy shit, that water! My money's on this one for Best Animated Film. Now, I want to say something here. The next 3 movies were very hard to place. To me, they all deserve the number 1 spot because they're nearly flawless movies and I like them all in a very similar way for very different reasons. So, from a technical standpoint, they're all number 1. But I'm gonna try and arrange the last few ones on a more emotional level, so bear with me. Number 3. I've got a bone to pick with this movie's video game-ish kinda out of place ending, which is why it's not higher on the list. Otherwise, 10 Cloverfield Lane would have been the best movie of the year hands down. I still find it funny how one of the most minimalistic movies I've ever seen could give birth to such a superb, even terrifying performance by John Goodman, an exquisite execution of misdirection, and an excellent chemistry between the 3, count them, 3 actors in a movie that was supposed to follow the more unpopular and far worse received spiritual predecessor. Number 2. Well, duh. Despite not being too fond of the hashtag T-Bat kind of humor that this film insists on dropping for, I don't know, the non-existent kids that won't watch this film because it's R-rated, it's unarguably the best, most spot-on representation not only of the Deadpool character, but of any comic book character in any superhero movie, period. It was lots of fun, fourth walls were broken into oblivion, and Ryan Reynolds is my fucking hero. Good job, homeboy. Good job. Number 1! No surprises there, my number 1 spot for the best movie of the year comes in the form of the last movie I reviewed. Yes, it has flaws, yes, there were too much and too little of some characters, but I just can't put RogueOne anywhere else. Because it succeeded in making a standalone story, toning down on ridiculous, out-of-place humor, exalting the quality of A New Hope, and being the number 1 film of 2016. And there you have it, folks, my top 10 movies of 2016. I hope you enjoyed, I hope you sort of agreed, and I'll see you next video. In the meantime, what are your favorite movies for this year? Let me know in the comments. My name is Tom Schneider, and I'll see you next time. Next time on World of Schneider.